What's going on, you guys? It is Fatal. Welcome to my first official shocking developments where I'm going to talk to you guys. That's the one thing that's been missing from my channel. It's been driving me nuts. Conversation with the viewers. And for today, I've actually decided to bring in, for the small matter of the E3 conferences of 2018, and for our first outing, I'm going to bring in an old friend. It's my spiritual brother. It's Andy HATHEM. Misplaced Gaming, is it?
Yes, it is. Hello.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to the first shocking developments where we discuss things that are discussionable. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm not doing too bad.
Not doing too bad. That's what we want to hear. So, well, let's just get straight into it. E3, we want to go back and talk about EA's performance after we're finished laughing about how bad it was. So let's save that one for another day. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about what you thought about the Xbox conference and the Bethesda conference. So let's just get right into it and just kind of bounce off each other. Just really get into the opinions that we're sharing or where we differ. Just essentially just cover as much as we can so we can really take in what we've just seen. So just right off the bat, Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite. Now, I have to make a disclaimer. Obviously, I am a PlayStation person. So
oh right, yes, no, I forgot to mention this is my spiritual brother who is entirely PlayStation, whereas I have both consoles and prefer Xbox. He has one console and prefers that one console, which is the PlayStation. So Xbox games aren't really his forte. This is the controversial reason I wanted him on this show, because he is going to be the representation of your diehard PlayStation fan. Sorry, carry on.
I will defend us to the hills, and I will. No, I'm going to leave that.
To the hills.
So yeah, Halo 6. I have played a Halo game. So despite the fact that I'm a PlayStation person, way back in the first Xbox, I believe it was,
oh wow,
I played the original Halo and Halo 2. So I do know a little bit about it. So I know the Flood and the Covenant.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got a basic understanding of the franchise. But yeah, just as a teaser trailer, it looked kind of nice actually. A bit too nice.
Yeah,
I don't know where they're going
bit
with
sprawling world. Yeah, we really weren't sure. If you didn't check out the Gamecast coverage of the reaction of Gamecast to Microsoft, I was on the panel when we did that. I say panel, there were only a few of us, but I was there and we saw it live. And I believe you were watching us, sir. You were watching us stream.
I was indeed, and I was throwing my two penneth in where I could.
And yeah, we were all a little bit like, what is this, when the conference started, because it was so vague. And then I quickly ascertained that I was like, oh, is it Halo? Is it Halo? Is it Halo? And then sure enough, we saw Master Chief's helmet, and it was like, yeah, that's the confirmation. Halo Infinite, not a common subtitle for something. Usually like something like Halo Infinity would be more fitting, surely. Halo Infinite, it doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
It's kind of become a thing now, hasn't it? Because obviously Call of Duty have done their Infinite Warfare. And
Infinite Warfare, yes.
Sure,
but of course you had Warfare to tie off that awkward ending.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other games that I've seen in Infinite and Infinity. I mean, Marvel for a start, Infinity War. You know,
of course,
Infinity's just coming into everything. So I don't. The concept of Infinity means it goes on forever. So where are they heading with these games?
Well, there's going to be at least... Well, this could be the last Halo game. I mean, it is ending the new trilogy that started with 4, so you never know.
Now, there is a little gap in my knowledge, because I've also seen the Halo films. Both of them, funny enough.
Ah, right.
And I know Master Chief ends up having a fight with someone. I never remember who he is. But
Locke, Agent Locke.
That's it. Was that before or after the game? It might. Or...
that was in Halo 5. It was one of the reasons that the game was so poorly received for its campaign, was because it was marketed as this massive clash between Locke and Chief, and it came down to literally about 5 punches being thrown, and it was very scrappy and very disappointing.
Ah, fair enough. And this is what I mean. I can't see where they're going with this next one. As I say, the trailer I remember is where Chief is covered in this like shawl thing, and then all of a sudden this massive bird mech comes out of the ground.
The Guardian. Yes, that was the original E3 reveal of Halo Guardians.
Yeah. See, as I say, I'm way behind with the times on the Halo. So
well, speaking personally, I'm not massively excited about Halo Infinite, but I am massively excited about the fact that it's being built on an entirely new engine. That's pretty cool.
It could throw a spanner in the works, or it could really take it off again. So it
could take it away from its roots. Obviously, that was the biggest surprise about the conference as a whole, wasn't it? Just how many games were shown, just how wide range the whole conference was.
So yeah, I mean, you know, as I've said to you, I've been making my notes because I had to go over it again because I couldn't remember.
There was so much.
There was so much. So I've made my notes here, and yes, Phil Spencer basically came out and said, "We're all about games now." In so many words, that's what he said. It's like, yes, everything we're doing is just to rake in more games, more companies. And stuff.
Making good on the promise a couple of years ago of the three-pronged attack, getting the UI and the interface and the connectivity all sorted, then getting the hardware sorted, and then getting the games.
Yeah.
A three-pronged attack. It really has come to fruition, hasn't it? I have to say, he's been a godsend for Xbox. He truly has.
I don't disbelieve you. I can certainly say that, although being on the side of the fence that I am, looking over at you guys, I am going, you know what?
The grass is greener because you're in the blue corner.
Well, the ocean is blue on my side.
Oh, you're sinking then. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Anyway, that's enough. I don't want this to be like 10 hours long. As much as that would be really fun for me to watch back. So let's just move on to the next thing. I'm pretty sure you'd be hard pressed to find a fanboy who didn't think that Forza Horizon 4 looks phenomenal.
Wow. See, I just watching that from, like, as I say, the cast that you was doing. Yeah, I was impressed. I believe I told you recently that I got invited to do the crew beta.
You did.
That kind of fell flat with me. But it's kind of the same concept. They wanted to go with a variety of races and styles and put it into a game that, you know, would in an open world that you could just go and enjoy yourself with. But I must admit, looking at Horizon, it looked a lot more up my street than probably, you know, the crew is. And I think it's just for the sheer variety of it. Like the dynamic seasons. What was that about?
Oh, fantastic. That's superb. Yeah, absolutely. Seeing the same track again covered in snow.
Yeah. I mean, they did it so well as well. I think if you was in the crowd at the E3 conference, the way they kind of threw the leaves down for autumn, I was a bit disappointed they didn't have like snow cannons. If I've got to knock marks off anywhere, it's got to be for not having a snow cannon.
Not having a snow cannon. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Horizon ones. I've never shielded myself from the public of saying, like, I don't like the Forza mainstays. I'm not a big racing fan, but I have to admit the Horizon series is just, it's on another level. Like, whenever I'm in the odd year and I know it's going to be a Forza motorsport game, I'm always kind of like, it'll look pretty, but I don't do circuit racers. And then I'll know, then the even years, I'll know that I'm getting a Horizon game. And that's just a whole new level of exciting. It's just a different experience when you get to drive from event to event. It's just driving everywhere. You're seeing all these drive avatars, and well, now you're going to see real people. That's just great. I really can't wait. I definitely think Forza Horizon 4 is going to be a day one buy for me. Absolutely.
It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you had this on the Xbox. I'm pretty sure you probably did. But did you ever have TDU, Test Drive Unlimited?
Probably, but I didn't personally play it.
So yeah, I used to play Test Drive Unlimited 2 on the PlayStation, and that is pretty much the same thing. Like you had a vehicle, you drove from place to place. It could go anywhere. It had car manufacturers, and they even had a casino. So you could go.
Of course, yeah.
It was kind of like a Second Life sim, but for racing, if that makes sense. So you could wander around. You could purchase houses, garages and stuff like that, new cars and.
Oh.
Customize. Yeah, it was actually really good. I don't know where that game's gone. I'll have to look that up.
The Forgotten Shores, yeah. Obviously we're in agreement then that Horizon 4 looks pretty sick. Let's move on to what, in my opinion, might be the most beautiful game I've ever seen. Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Wow. Yeah. I can't.
The colors.
I can't even begin to think of. I remember saying this to you the other day as well. It was. I couldn't put my finger on it, and I still haven't. I'm sure that PlayStation has had their own kind of beautiful little game.
Their own version of Ori.
Yeah.
I remember one. What's it called? Something Genie that was announced last E3, where paintings on the wall come to life.
Probably
Concrete Genie.
So something like that.
It's ringing a bell, and that looked like a very colorful and vibrant game. But I've never seen anything as gloriously artistic as Ori. Like when you want to make the argument to modern entertainment media and say that games are art, you show them that, and they will have no argument.
So I was watching it, and I couldn't help but think, is it the cutest platformer ever?
Oh, of course. Because you reckon he looks like Stitch. He
looks like Stitch's long lost cousin. I have a real soft spot for some of the Disney franchises, and Stitch is one of them. He's my favorite. Just like a little ball of anarchy.
The only thing that might hold Ori and the Will of the Wisps back is difficulty, because Ori, it was a superb introduction to that, and we thought it was going to be a standalone game, but it was so hard, so difficult. It was, don't get me wrong, it was almost as beautiful as this game, but it was ridiculously hard. And the feels, 2 minutes in, you deal with a very impactful and tear-rending death.
I believe I've seen that. Yes,
it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to watch that, and you just have to pick yourself up after that.
I believe his big friend, doesn't he? He passes at the beginning.
Yeah,
of the game.
it's like mom, like adopted mom. It's a really tough scene to watch.
I actually caught the Rooster Teeth podcast as well, or when they watched the conference, and I'm trying to remember her name. It wasn't Meg, it was the other one. But basically she was like, I'm crying already. So she remembers back to the original Ori, and it just gets her all welled up.
Well, Ori and the Blind Forest was a work of art. Undeniably beautiful, but again, a very challenging game. You really had to... I guess it took me out of how beautiful it was because of how difficult it was. It just became another controller smash fest.
I presume the further you got into it, the less kind of tear-jerky it got, the more kind of...
And the more frustrating it got. Yeah.
So it's emotional.
You take it correctly.
Different levels.
So let's... Okay, well, we're in agreement then that it looks like a really beautiful game. Why don't we then... Because I know you're dying to. Why don't we talk about Bethesda's reveal of Fallout 76?
No, you can't get me talking. I just won't stop.
Okay, well, we'll save... We are still going to cover the Bethesda conference in this video, so we'll save that for now. But it was really good to see Microsoft's statement by getting that shown, like the footage that they had, that would eventually be shown again in the Bethesda conference. But getting it first, as a real statement, it's not easy to do that.
Well, to make us all laugh, I mean, Todd Howard is... I don't know whether he's just a stand-up comedian come, managing person of Bethesda, or he is a managing person of the Bethesda trying to be a comedian. But he does it very well, and
he has great comedic timing.
He does, and literally he stated, well, I say he stated, he suggested that obviously Phil Spencer, he's doing the Bethesda thing over in the building over the road, and Phil Spencer pops over and says, "Hey, look, I'm having a few friends around. Do you want to just pop over and have a chat?" So yeah, I mean, I was a bit surprised to see like Todd Howard walk out and go, "Yeah, by the way," but it was more so to do with the fact that, oh, can you hear that?
No.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, I'll start that again. I can hear a bloody racing bike going down the road. It's
Oh, welcome to my world.
I didn't know whether you could
High
hear it.
Street.
Yeah. Right, so I'll start again. Yeah, so I was surprised to see Todd Howard there, but I understand why he was there now. It's so you're basically getting Fallout 4 on the Game Pass.
Yes.
Obviously when it goes live, and I think that was the main reason he was there. But obviously, to add that little bit of extra kind of oomph to the whole presentation, he basically goes, "Okay, we'll give you some tidbits about Fallout 76. It's a prequel to the original game, and oh, by the way, it's 4 times the size of Fallout 4."
Yeah. I did find, indeed, the Bethesda conference as a whole was very impressive, but just like that first little hint of Xbox saying like, yeah, we're gonna get Fallout. Let's move on to Metro Exodus. What a crazy looking game that was.
I'm kicking myself right now because I have been looking at the Metro series a little while. And I still haven't picked it up. So you've got obviously the first Metro, I can't remember what the second one is, and 2077 or something like that. Oh no,
something.
Oh no, that's Cyberpunk, but it's something along the same lines. It's along the same lines of that, and then now obviously you're getting the new Metro Exodus. And as I say, I've been looking at the prequels. I've been thinking about getting them and playing them because I've seen footage, but I've not actually played it. And even watching Metro Exodus, I'm thinking, gee, I would actually really like to play that. And I can honestly say I don't know if I'm going to play it.
Well, I think the new one being open world and very much more aggressive with its shooting mechanics means that it's probably a bit more my thing.
I mean, I'm getting a vibe of Wolfenstein from it. Kind of. I don't know if you get the same feeling about it because I've seen footage from Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see what really comes of that. I'm excited for it, but we have a little while to wait yet, so there's no point in getting too excited for it. Speaking of not getting too excited for it, Crackdown 3?
Delayed again.
Delayed again. I'm pretty sure at one point it was coming out in 2014. That seems like an age ago.
2014. Yeah, 2027 maybe.
Yeah, starting to look really bad. But the thing is, it was after Phil said, look, we're going to delay the game so that we can put more money into the game. I guess I got behind that. I guess I got behind the idea that they recognize that this is a big title that they need to do right. And there was a lot of fears going into this conference that they would show it and it would be missing the fully destructible multiplayer and stuff like that. But it's still there, and the game looks a lot more polished than the last time they showed it. So even though it is delayed, I must admit I'm coming round. I really am curious about it.
Again, it's another one that I've seen. I've had the gracious opportunity to play that game. Like only a small part of it. I think it was the first one, Crackdown 1, and it was okay. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Saints Row, but with obviously like superpowers. So it was maybe like one of the later Saints Row, but obviously done well before its time. And I can see entertainment side of it. I do think it is one of those things that if you play it, you would enjoy it. But
I do think it looks fun. It looks like crazy multiplayer goodness, and I can get behind that, especially since I've got a bit of a soft spot for third person shooters. What do you get when you get a first person and a third person shooter? You get a third person shooter. Yeah.
You should go and get a drink.
Indeed.
Third person.
Where can we really go from there? I mean, obviously, you know that I have been a very big advocate for just how good the rebooted Tomb Raider series has been. So, Shadow of the Tomb Raider this September, right around the corner. What do you think?
I honestly thought it was a Splinter Cell game. So when I was watching the conference, I believe it was the stream you was a part of, there was some teething issues with the stream itself, so I think
we struggled around that time. Yeah, around that time we did start to lose, which is a shame, because obviously the Tomb Raider series has been, well, since it was brought back, it's been critically acclaimed, and I think that the definitive edition of Tomb Raider from 2013 that I played a few years ago, I think it's probably one of the best games I played this generation.
Yeah, again, it's one of those franchises that I played a while ago, because I say Xbox got their claws into it and claimed the exclusivity a little while ago.
Temporary exclusivity. I don't know. I haven't had it confirmed. I had a few people suggest that that's what they're doing with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I hope it's not, because I feel bad when you're going to get the game, but you just have to wait longer. It doesn't seem right.
No, but as you say, there's a competitiveness. Yeah, there's a competitiveness to the market.
There is, and obviously fighting each other is how the games can increase in quality. I mean, you can't really have a game be good if there's nothing to define why it's good.
Definitely.
Nothing to compare it to.
And as we've seen before, and as you quite graciously pointed out to me with No Man's Sky, you're now getting a finished product. We were basically Sony have basically gone, give us a game, and that's what Hello Games did, and unfortunately they got dealt the crappy hand of...
Well, I'm of the opinion that they might have had Hello Games in a vice with the whole funding, helping to fund the game after the flood at the studio. I think they kind of felt like they had to do whatever Sony said. And Sony were saying, look, you've been showing this game for years, get it out already. And they were probably thinking, we're not ready. We need at least another 2 years. But they salvaged what they could and released it and then hid in tunnels. And I don't blame them, because some of the things that we gamers have said about Sean Murray in particular are just unacceptable. Unacceptable lack of humanity. Absolutely disgraceful.
I have to hold my hands up. At one point, I was one of those people holding the pitchfork.
Oh,
to be honest, no. I never went to the extent of personally messaging people and going, you know, what's the point of your company existing, blah blah. You know,
what's the point of you being alive?
Well, exactly, yeah, and that's just when that's just when it goes too far. As I say, I was holding the pitchfork. I was like, yeah, it's a rubbish game. Why did they even bother? You know, why did Sony pick this up? And then, of course, you know, the light of day came through, and it was like, oh.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where Sony. I'm a big fan of the PlayStation 4 and its games, but the Sony practices behind the scenes have worried me considerably. There's this arrogance to them that keeps blowing up in their face, if you ask me.
Yeah. See, some people could say that's stereotypical of an Asian company. Other people would say that they're doing what they're doing because they know it works. And to be honest, neither of those are wrong. You know,
it's true. It's true. And it has been working for them. They have had the advantage, but they also had, let's not forget, I mean, again, I'm not trying to be biased towards Xbox, but let's not forget, Xbox started very, very poorly. They gave a running start to PlayStation. They really did.
Definitely. And I think PlayStation got too comfy, and that is for another video.
Well, obviously, yes, I agree, but suggestions of like a PlayStation 5 in 2019, as a pro owner, you must feel a bit betrayed by that.
Yes and no. Mainly because I didn't actually pay for my Pro.
No, you won it, but let's just talk from the principle of it all.
If I was,
let's say you had paid.
Metaphorically, if I had played for my PS4 Pro, I would have been a bit like, okay, so now I've got a...
What's the point?
Yeah, what was the point? You know, I could have waited a couple of years or a year, and then I'd be able to buy the next big thing. And I think that's kind of opened my eyes in a sense as well. I possibly, when the next console comes out, I know there's this whole big thing about...
You might wait a little bit?
I might wait. I might just wait. I will definitely heavily consider waiting.
Well, the news today, the brand new news today is when it was hinted, well, not hinted, it was said at the Microsoft conference, which I'll touch on now, that the next generation of Xbox consoles are in the make. They're being prepared now, and that presumably means a 2021, 2022 launch window, which is okay with me because I just got the X last October. It's not even a year old yet. So I'm happy for a couple more years of enjoying the X. But Xbox Scarlet codename has been confirmed now. So the console generations are not what they were. They just keep going and going and going.
So is this the next Xbox console? Or
yes, this will be the next generation. The 9th generation Xbox console is called Xbox Scarlet.
For now. So
yes, that's a placeholder. The same way this was known once upon a time as Xbox Scorpio.
I still prefer that name.
I do too. I think that would have been really sick. I think the way that they've clung on to these like single letters and numbers is a bit disappointing. I want to see something like PlayStation Trebuchet or something like that. You know, something weird, something to really shake it up. something just to be really different. You know?
I think they will ruin it if they call it anything else than a 5, because there were so many puns and jokes made about the Xbox when it was flying around with numbers.
Xbox One, Xbone,
Xbox 360, Xbox 720.
Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine though, with all the games that launched at 720p, what the ridicule if it was called the Xbox 720? Oh,
it would have been bad.
All right, we detracted a little bit there, but no, it's fine. It's fine the way the generations are progressing. I just feel like with Sony, there's this edginess to them that I can't trust, if that makes sense. I can't trust them.
I understand what you're saying. But I think also to be honest, from my side of the fence, I've known Sony for so long. Like, it's been part of my life from the very first PlayStation. Yes, I'm that old. Right up to the 4.
Hey, you're 2 months younger than me. You stop that now.
But yeah, it's been from the 1 to the 4, and it literally I think I've kind of gone with Sony for the ride. It's
you're attached now.
You literally just jump in this little boat and it just goes. It's I think there was a animated series that we watched, or an animated short, and one of the jokes of it was there's this object ahead of us, and Sony's solution to it was power through the obstacle.
yes I know all too well. We do quote that a lot. We quote that little animated thing a lot. Speaking of the Sony like advantage, Xbox are really attempting to hit back with this the initiative, this new studio with the former head of Crystal Dynamics, you know, the resurrection of Tomb Raider. It's a great director to have for your studio, and it's being referred to unofficially as a quadruple A studio. What do you think of that?
I think they're just making stuff up now.
Well, yeah, to be honest, the AAA studio was once upon a time something people just made up anyway.
So yeah, I think you had to kind of explain it to me, but literally with Microsoft, their pockets are deep. So
well, this is the reality. They could buy and sell Sony with like the change at the back of their couch. It's just the way it is.
But the only reason they don't do it is for the competitiveness, and plus also, as you say, for them to better themselves, they have to have a benchmark. So
exactly.
Unfortunately, Sony is that benchmark. We contribute to your gaming experiences.
You certainly do. You certainly do. But these new studios, like obviously we've seen a bunch of new studio acquisitions as well, like the team behind We Happy Few, the team behind Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, and Playground Games, obviously the geniuses behind the Forza series, like all purchased. Boom, boom, boom! By Microsoft. What a statement of intent!
I didn't even realize they didn't own them.
I got to admit, I didn't realize they didn't own Playground Games either. But if that's the case, what on earth will they create when they do own them?
Well, this is probably I say not the fear, but this was probably the case of Playground Games could have gone to Sony and gone, yeah, we'll release our game on your console. I don't know whether it's a move by Xbox.
So Ninja Theory, obviously Senua's Sacrifice developers. Is that not something that Sony wanted to secure? That game was astounding.
It seems like Sony's thing, but again, I could just be playing to the stereotype of Asian companies. This is the poor side of me coming out. But literally,
oh dear.
Yeah, they do seem to go for a lot of. I mean, was it a single player as an RPG? Because they seem they seem to follow that suit. They love the single player experience, and I'm not going to lie, I like it too. For certain things, say God of War has kind of got me back into that. With the whole single player experience, I really enjoyed that, and I played that to its end. I would go through and complete the entire game with the Valkyries and stuff, but I think that's going to be a bit time consuming, and obviously, the way things are with life, you kind of have to decide
you're a daddy now.
Yes, you have to prioritize yourself, and taking time to defeat a boss is not really an option for me. But I may do it one day. I may do it one day, but it's no time soon. But yeah, they seem to follow that, and I think if that's the kind of thing they were going for, they would have tried to acquire it. But obviously, as you say, Xbox have come in and gone, okay, we got on, come join us.
Well, Undead Labs, was State of Decay that well received?
State of Decay. See, again, another Xbox exclusive I have not had the opportunity to get hold of. But I've heard the original one was really good. State of Decay 2 has supposedly improved upon it as well.
Yes,
like improved upon itself. So from what I've heard from the outside, it was pretty well perceived. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Obviously personal opinion for yourself, being able to play the games and stuff. I don't know how you felt about it.
I didn't get that one myself. I felt that the price being so cheap concerned me, and then sure enough, my friends stopped playing it after about 2 days. So I was like, yeah, I've saved about £24 there.
It's always the way.
But moving straight along, like let's just briefly, and I mean briefly, touch on the Game Pass thing. Obviously, we already know about Game Pass, what terrific value it is, and now it's getting Fallout 4.
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, the Fallout 4, Todd Howard coming out and going, okay, so you guys again. Oh dear. Sorry. Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, the Todd Howard coming out and going, okay, so we've got something for you guys. The whole Bethesda side, we're going to go and give you Fallout 4 on your Game Pass when that goes live. It's a nice gesture, actually. I kind of like that. I mean, you get the free games each month with the PlayStation Plus, and I mean, Xbox get it with Gold, don't they? They get the Gold Pass games, but to obviously put money in each month and get like like AAA games out of it, and you just pay each month. I mean, I don't know how it works exactly. Do you have to have both? Do you have to have the Gold and the Game Pass?
I don't. I think the Gold is still a separate thing, but I think there was talk of merging them so that if you have Game Pass, you have Gold.
See, now that would make sense to me. That would make sense.
That would be terrific value. Yeah.
Tremendous
okay.
value.
So just I'll breeze through Tunic, which is obviously a little Zelda clone featuring a fox. I don't know much more about it than that. It looks pretty. No real issues there. Kingdom Hearts 3, everyone knows about that one. It's been in development hell. It's been delayed again and again, but now it's actually coming out. I didn't play any of the previous Kingdom Hearts ones, so I don't really have a lot to offer in that one. But one I can offer an opinion about is Sea of Thieves and the expansions being announced, the Cursed Sails and Forsaken Shores. That's going to be adding some AI threats in the form of like skeleton manned boats, which is exactly what the game's needed, and I've said so from the beginning. It's just an empty world where you find all these islands and you just jump out and you explore them. You might find a chest, but there's nothing special about the islands, and hopefully these expansions are gonna build on that.
Yeah, I mean, hearing from you personally, I kind of made the joke at one point of it being No Man's Sea.
Oh dear.
And yeah, I think it's obviously a step in the right direction. I mean, you recently got your Megalodon, which I'm sure you're happy about.
I was, but then it turns out it's just a boss you summon with a bunch of tedious activities and then you never encounter again. How disappointing.
Banging a drum, you know. What more could you want from a game?
Well, the drum has a very catchy tune, I'll give it that.
Fair enough. So yeah, the inclusion of new content over time, and I think, as I say, it was exactly the same with No Man's Sky. You're kind of getting a finished game out of that, and I think you're just going to have to be patient with No Man's Sea. That's what I'm going to call it now. it will
well,
have
obviously
content. It will have the content.
Obviously, it will get better over time because Rare are nothing if not committed to what they make. But speaking of like being committed to what you make, the general selection of indie titles, we could sit here all night and talk about each and every individual one. I would just say, in general, it's something that's worth going and checking out for yourself. Look at a video of the little montage of indie titles coming out, games that have been in game preview on Xbox for a while now, Astroneer and things like that. It's well worth looking into the indie program on Xbox. Absolutely it is. But something that's definitely not an indie game and completely came out of nowhere because I hadn't even heard so much as a rumor about this even existing was Dying Light 2.
I've played the original Dying. I did like that one. And then I think it got a DLC pack, didn't it? The vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I never got that one. That another one I am kicking myself about. I heard it was pretty good. I mean, the game itself was fun. I liked getting to the end of the story, but at the same time, there was something about it that didn't quite hit home with me.
Didn't quite resonate.
Yeah. As I say, I enjoyed it, but it was one of those ones that I kind of got to the end of, and I thought, you know what, I'm done. I'm happy I played it, but I don't think I'm going to put any more time into it. So I presume there was collectibles and stuff, but I never really got to that point of it. Never really kind of grabbed me in that way of, oh, you could get this, you could get that, and mush it all together. It had a multiplayer. The multiplayer wasn't great. I did not enjoy that one. But as I say, I think if I'd played the DLC as well, that might have
gotten a bit more out of it.
It might have drawn me in a bit more, yeah. I think if they'd had that in the first place, I think it was one of those games that was kind of, it did lack variety, but what it did with the story and how you traversed and played through it was good. It did what it said on the tin. It fulfilled its plan.
Yeah.
But it could have done more. It's one of those games that it was satisfactory.
Should have been more.
But it should have and could have done more.
Well, I think for me, one of the other reasons I never really went with State of Decay 2 is I'm zombied out. I'm truly zombied out. There's so many games that feature zombies now. It's just ridiculous. But with the reason I got so excited by Dying Light 2 is because the zombie thing is only really at night now. In the day, you seem to be dealing with people and the lack of control and discipline in the city. That sings to me. That kind of thing, it taps into, dare I say it taps into my Witcher senses.
It adds a different level, doesn't it? It adds diversity. And that's...
Well, just seeing people suffering and seeing other people try and take advantage of that suffering for personal gain. Again, going back to The Witcher, that's that personal level of storytelling. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be deep on the story, but that kind of act, going around trying to make alliances and make enemies, that could be... Like, obviously, they've really built up the choices you make. It's like really deep on the RPG elements. It could be really good.
It could be. And it's funny, just listening to you talk about, taking a situation, stuff like that. It kind of touches on the Division 2, doesn't it?
Yes, I was going to just go into the Division 2, which is I don't know. Obviously, it's not taking place in Manhattan anymore. No more snow. It's in Washington, D.C. And it's much brighter, much more vibrantly colored game. But and I do think they've done a lot with the UI. It looks a little bit cleaner. And they've actually showing, instead of what we thought we were going to get with the original E3 trailers for Division, what they've shown for Division 2 is very realistically an extension of what the original game now is, so it's believable. You can get excited if it's doing it for you, then be excited, because that is how it will play.
I was going to say the problem with the last Division, they kind of showcased this game, and so many bits dropped out of it. I was quite surprised when I went back and looked at it. So the idea of having a drone be a friend on a tablet or another console, something like that, that went out the window. The idea of finding weapons in a crate and it, the
just
whole
seeing
thing
the weapon,
opening it up, looking at it, pick it up and go, oh, that looks nice, kind of thing, that went out the window. There was a lot of things that, and although I to its credit, the door closing mechanic was in there.
And the popping tires, I did a lot of that.
Popping tires, yeah. I did wonder how long it would take in the current Division 2 showcase. I was wondering how long it was going to be before they closed the door on that one, but unfortunately my desire was not met. I did miss out on that.
Yeah, it's difficult for me because I did like my time with the Division, but I acknowledge what a hot mess it was compared to what was promised. It was nowhere near what was advertised, not even close.
See, now I can say I enjoyed the Division, but this is where it kind of ends. It's like I enjoyed it.
But I would have loved the Division game they showed at E3 all those years ago.
I would have liked that too. The whole, once you send up a flare, which they did in the Dark Zone, but just being in a general area and you send up a flare and it obviously drags another team into your how can I say it, into your server, kind of into your area. Just one team, and you can duel it out with them. I liked that idea, but then they went, again, a lot of things that had changed from the E3 trailer to the actual game. You had to be in the Dark Zone, and the Dark Zone was my biggest regret of that entire game. I played through the story with friends as well. We enjoyed it. I actually liked the game. I'm not gonna lie. I liked the Division.
Oh, we
I
had a
liked
great
how it
time
played.
up until the end game.
Yeah, and then the obviously the Dark Zone that fell flat on its face for me.
Hellhole.
Completely and utterly waste of time. Personally feeling, and the end game. We tried a few of them. There was one we actually managed to complete, no problem. I think it was like the third one. It was probably one of the easiest ones we did. But the first and this second, we never completed. We never even got up to the blooming armored car. It was just so heavy duty that we never got to it. But yeah, as I say, I enjoyed it, and I kind of looking forward to the Division 2, but I now want to know what is going to happen in game. Is there going to be another Dark Zone? If so, can we get rid of it?
Yeah, we're definitely going to need to see a bit more before we can get excited for that one.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be showcased properly at like I say properly, but more of it will be showcased at E3 2019, so we'll look forward to that. We're just about wrapping up on Microsoft, but there's the little matter of Gears of War 5 and what comes with that. Oh, obviously, I think the multiplayer for Gears of War has been dead since the very first one. I loved the very first game for competitive multiplayer, and I loved the second game for Horde, and then it never captivated me ever again after that. I played it on 4 for a while, did pretty well, got myself some diamond ranks in various different multiplayer modes, but I never felt compelled to keep up those ranks and to keep competing because it's not what it was. But one thing I will praise Gears of War 4, and it's the reason I probably think it's probably one of the better Gears of War games overall, is the story. It was an excellent single-player story.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to try Gears of War. It wasn't one that I had the luck to play, shall we say. A lot of it was through other people. So Halo was through school. Crackdown was from one of my relatives. He had an Xbox for a short amount of time. I borrowed it for a night or two and played Crackdown. I think I tried Gears of War. I probably made it through the first 2 missions, and then I was kind of like, it's good. Obviously, I've not got an Xbox, but it wasn't. It wasn't my style.
No, that's perfectly okay. Obviously, the big selling point for Gears was always the story, and the compelling nature of insurmountable odds was always what was advertised. And I agreed with it to an extent. In Gears of War 4, it felt like the tables had turned ever so slightly, but now the Locust were coming back because the Swarm were a real threat. And the Locust were hinted to be coming back because one of the lead characters, Kate, was revealed to have some relations to the Locust Queen, which is obviously going to play heavily with the story for Gears of War 5. And I think if they do that right, they could have a real winner for story. Multiplayer, I don't even bother caring about anymore because I really do think there's nothing more they can do with it. It's just dead to me now. But the campaigns can still be so compelling and so good and so beautiful. I always thought Gears of War 4 was a superb looking game. And then I played it on the Xbox One X and I realized just how good it could be.
Yeah, my philosophy now, I look at a game and I look at the story. If I like the story, I will probably get the game. The only time I'll ever be disappointed with it is if the game relies heavily on player, because obviously that is your end game. For any game that's got multiplayer is your end game, unless of course you're Call of Duty, who just makes multiplayer the entire game. But I'm not going into that one again.
No, that's fine. But we were done. We were done with the Microsoft conference. Phil was bidding us goodbye. We were ready to go out on a high, but there was one more surprise.
I remember this.
Cyberpunk 2077. I'm so glad it was finally shown. Now, I'm gonna make it abundantly clear that I think it's going to be the game that I did when I saw the original trailer with these authoritative figures and these bullets not able to penetrate this weird robot woman's skin and her strange prosthetic claw arms, and it was very grisly scene, very very passionate, dark, gritty, Blade Runner-esque, and now the gameplay that we've seen, well, which in my opinion, based on what I know of CD, is this is definitely what the game will look like because of how beautiful The Witcher looked like, and this is obviously years later. It looks, I can get behind it. It looks like it's going to be chock-a-block full of memorable characters, and even if I'm not getting my dark, rainy nights Blade Runner-esque, I can get behind the setting if the characters are right.
I was going to say, I remember seeing that first teaser trailer, and I was like, ooh, it kind... From what I saw of the end trailer, and I remember hearing the glee in your voice when you realised what it was. It does look like it's gone from, as an example, DC to Marvel, if that makes sense. It kind of went from
that's a good analogy.
Yeah, it kind of went from very kind of Batman kind of darkness. It was like, oh wow, this chick is obviously an assassin of some kind.
Mind you, we do see someone get their eye pulled out, so well, it's not entirely.
Yeah,
Marvel.
no, I'm not gonna say it isn't, but it just the way they portrayed it, she looked like a kind of proper assassin, kind of honey trap almost
character.
And I
was looking forward to being a cop, a cybernetic cop with these flying cars. Now it's not even. Now we don't even know if we'll have the flying cars. It's a little more up in the air. But at the same time, to have that gameplay shown, it does take away things that we were wishing for, but it actually gives us things to hope for, if that makes sense.
It gives you more of an idea now of what it's going to be like. They have put more of an emphasis, because the teaser trailer was more of a still moment, like captured, and they were just kind of moving around the area as if it was like a moment captured in time of like what was happening. And then now you've got a full video of what it actually is. And as I said, it's kind of gone DC Marvel, where now you seem to, you said you would like to be a cop. It now looks like a kind of a deranged man jumping into a DeLorean and flying off. That's the kind of vibe I got. I was like, wow, okay.
But we are a merc. We are a mercenary, which I like the sound of. Our name's V, and we're a cyberpunk mercenary, a gun for hire. I do like the idea of being a gun for hire because that worked so well in The Witcher, being a monster killer for hire. It really worked.
It's what they do, isn't it? I mean, obviously The Witcher was done so well, as you say, being a mercenary.
Well, it gave you opportunities to be both the bad guy and the good guy, and to use your moral compass to make decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
you help that guy, he might kill the woman you love later. Things like that. You don't know.
You've definitely got you've definitely got your next game, even if it wasn't Witcher. If they'd worked on another Witcher, it would have been kind of the same concept, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'll hope that eventually, when we do get the blessed arrival of Witcher 4, and I'm assuming I'll be in my 40s by the time that happens, but it's going to be at least a decade. It's going to be at least a decade.
I'll be right there with you, so don't worry.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, 2 months younger than me, so you follow me wherever I go. So, Microsoft's conference. If you had to rate it, what would you give it? Do you know much about my shark card system, or would you prefer out of 10?
I can do out of 10, but I know a little bit around your shark card system. I have watched your videos as well. So, yeah, I would say it's not quite a legendary. It's not. I mean,
not quite a legendary.
Not quite a legend. I mean, they have done fantastically.
Superbly well.
Yeah, as you say, I think. But it could be the case of, where you've kind of trailed behind for the last 2 years.
We're just so breached now. We've just breached the sea.
I think as you say, you've kind of been lurking beneath the waters. You haven't really made yourself known, and then all of a sudden, bam, there you go.
Lovely shark analogies. I'm loving this. Loving this.
Yeah, so I think...
A rare?
I would give it I mean, you don't do very rare, do you? But...
No, I don't have a very rare shark card.
So yeah, rare is definitely
A rare.
Rare is
Cool.
definitely good. I think if they can follow it up next year with the same kind of thing, I would give it a legendary if they can follow it up the same way.
Obviously, being an Xbox fan, seeing things like this, seeing the promise of future games, the new studio, the acquisition of those studios, I'm actually going to give it the legendary.
Well done. No.
So there we go. That's a legendary for me and a rare from you. I think overall a very well received conference.
Yeah, I would just like to, obviously, on behalf of the PlayStation fandom, and do not get me wrong, I understand where they're coming from, but stay in your corner. I would like to congratulate Xbox for that's reaching the waters.
That's very gracious of you.
Nice
The Game Sharks, the Xbox Game Sharks are on the surface now. Loving it. Okay, so we're going to go straight from there. I know you've been absolutely dying inside having to talk about Xbox for so long, but let's give you a little bit back, shall we? Let's move into the Bethesda conference.
Oh, this is my wheelhouse. You will not take it from me.
I thought it was. Okay. Well, obviously, in 2016, we had a very unexpectedly brilliant Doom reboot.
Ooh. Yes.
So now we've got the sequel, Doom Eternal. What do you think of that?
So the Doom reboot was not my biggest fave. I know it's terrible. I've been looking for Bethesda talk for a while, and unfortunately, Doom wasn't my thing. But
no,
I played it. I did. Honestly, I did. I played the beta and everything, and it's fun. It's kind of like
it's quite crazy.
It is very crazy, and I think. Oh, I'm enough crazy that I didn't need any more crazy, if that makes sense. So I think that's where it kind of lost me, or we were the same kind of crazy, maybe. But yeah, it for those who enjoyed it, I get it. It's a very fast pace off, like I would say on.
I like the multiplayer.
Yeah, that lost me. I could do the single player. I could have just about had that. It was the multiplayer that got me, where everyone.
Freeze tag, baby. If I had a clan, I'd be all over that.
I couldn't do it. It felt like everyone was on like steroids and all kinds of manner of.
Oh, you should have died! How did you not die?
It was like they were all on kinds of drugs, just running at lightning speed.
Just pull out the double barrel and hit you from 50 feet away for a one-hit wonder, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, I'm not great when it comes to the unrealistic first-person shooter. I can do some of them. I can't do that though. I cannot do that. But yes,
that's fair enough. It
looks amazing. I'm like,
it does.
The world itself. Because the original Doom, or the original Doom,
the remake.
Reboot, yes. I've seen people play it. It looked.
I say remake, more of a reboot. Yeah.
Yeah. It looked very linear. Like you just followed where you went. This looked like there was an entire world out there. I don't know how, because I know obviously it's just like a teaser thing at the moment. I don't know how much of that is going to become reality. So if there's a world out there, even better. You can have some real fun with that.
I definitely agree. I think I'll probably be tempted to buy if it's as content rich as last time. Like the fact that it had a fully fleshed out multiplayer suite, a really deep single player experience, and an amazing map editor. It just made it a three hit. It was just a triple threat game. And if Snap Map is coming back, and maybe even better, I'll be sold. I'll want it again.
I say a lot of people on my side of the fence, they played it, they enjoyed it. I remember you saying that you really liked the map editor, which was
Snap Map.
Nice addition actually.
Absolutely. I wish more games had Snap Map or something of that ilk.
Really unexpected. From my personal view, that kind of game I would have a map editor. Like Far Cry, I get it. The problem is though that's a really in-depth map editor.
It's a scarily in-depth map editor.
I've seen some maps that are really good, and then I've seen some maps that are extremely shocking.
Well, day one, I ran onto Far Cry 5 and found maps that were literally a beach with random buildings in the middle of it, and you just you just ran around.
I was so impressed with myself when I played Far Cry. I made a few maps.
Sorry, you cut out there, buddy. When you played Far Cry?
Oh, Far Cry 3. When I used their map editor, I made a few maps.
Did you?
I did, and I feel I did really well. I feel I did really well, but I never really. Obviously, they never took off. You know, there were so many people doing it.
Yeah.
But the fact that Far Cry 5 did the whole, you know, every kind of map is pretty much a player-created map. That killed that for me. Anyway, I'm going off topic.
No, it's all good. It's all about discussion here on the shocking developments.
Cool.
Well, okay, let's go from Doom and go to its cousin Quake.
Quake! That's a name I haven't done in years.
Yes. Is it Quake Champions? I think it's Champions.
Quake Champions. It's been a huge esport, hasn't it? Quake is one of those... QuakeCon. It's got its own blooming...
QuakeCon.
It's got its own thing. I mean, how big do you want to be that you get your own thing? That's another kind of fast-paced shooter. It reminds me a lot of Doom, but obviously a little... I don't know. From what I've seen, it's a little less manic. It does have all the, you know, fast-paced action, weird kind of maps where I think there was one where you could go underneath. It was like a pirate ship. I swear it was. And you went in one side, you dropped down underneath, and it threw you up the other side. And yeah, it was crazy in its own way. Quake is definitely one of those that you have to be dedicated to learn it. It's easy to play, difficult to master is my new favorite way of describing things now, because I use it for Rocket League. Very easy to play, difficult to master, and I feel stuff like Quake and Doom is probably on that scale for me. It's very easy to pick up, shoot a gun, and, you know, aim for people. But for those who are good at it, good luck catching them.
Well, exactly, and it's PC gaming as well. Obviously, we don't get Quake Champions being console peasants, but you can appreciate the level of competitive flow that comes out of Quake. And obviously, it's been designed in an Overwatch kind of way this time, with all these abilities and these skills.
That is probably the definition I was looking for. Overwatch. The skill abilities and all that. Yeah, as I say, I've seen it. I swear we had a console version at one point.
We did have the Quakes on console. This is more of a separate thing.
Yeah, but as you say, it's more heavily. So I'm not too fussed about that. As I say, it looks fun for those who enjoy that kind of game.
Exactly.
For me,
exactly. Live and let live.
Yeah, can let it go.
So let's let's take the insanity of Doom and say the crazy westernized world of Mad Max and talk about Rage 2.
Okay.
I've never seen such silky gameplay in a first-person shooter.
Now, I know we're talking about E3, so I would like to pull it back to just before the announcement and say that the whole Bethesda showcase was, in my personal opinion, it was the best part of E3 for me. They are so down to earth. I was saying Todd Howard. He is like literally he should be a comedian on his days off. Even their like introduction to things was amazing. The introduction to Rage 2 got me. They brought out like you could see the drum kit and everything coming out. Oh, okay. So Andrew bloody WK walks out. I mean, I don't think I'm a big fan of his, but I've heard his music. I do like it. I am a rock fan, and just to have him play the song, they could have played some footage behind it, and I think they had something up on the screen. You know, they could have showed a bit of that, but just to hear them playing the song and, you know, them going, yeah, let's rage. I think if I was there, I would have probably started a mosh pit. I would have been a one-man mosh pit, just throwing myself on the floor.
Wow.
I think they fucking blew it out of the park. They blew it out of the park with the presentation.
Yeah.
But yes,
fair enough.
Rage 2. Rage, get back on topic here.
Oh, so smooth. So smooth. I do not believe for a second that it will play like that.
No, I'm with you on this one. It could happen. I would like to think it could. But
maybe for Pro and X, but I can't think the majority of console gamers are going to get much out of that.
Even so, I don't think the Pro and the X will do it.
Not to that extent. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect, and the physics and particle effects. I've never seen anything like that.
Although saying that, I think I asked you this, but I'd just like to clarify. Did you ever play the first Rage game?
A long time ago, I bought it used on my Xbox 360. I went through a phase where I literally bought about 12 games a month used for the Xbox 360.
See, I vaguely remember it, and from what I remember, it was a smooth game. Like, it ran smoothly. Well, I was impressed with how smooth it ran.
Are id working on this one?
Maybe I believe they could get it to run very smooth, but I don't believe they'll get it to run as smooth as they kind of showed it, if that makes sense. You've got so many things to take into consideration as well. How many objects are rendering? Some places just have drops in frame rate and stuff like that.
But obviously that kind of explorable, inviting, open wasteland is something Avalanche are familiar with. Obviously, Mad Max. What a game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the Mad Max PlayStation Plus.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit there. Let's go back. You played a little bit of Mad Max?
Yeah, so I played a bit of the Mad Max on the PlayStation when it went free on PlayStation Plus.
Oh yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I do like it. I haven't got round to finishing it, and I probably won't because there's just so much coming.
There's so much, isn't there? We're going to be playing No Man's Sky in about a month.
Yes, this is true.
Reinvigorated with the power of being also available on the Xbox.
I've got a few people that have already said they would like to get in on the action of.
I never got rid of it. I think it's a good game, but I think it's about to become a great game.
Well, I know in certain retailers. Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, you cut out again there, buddy.
I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll just have to keep sort of working around it. But yeah, okay, so Rage 2. Avalanche. Obviously, we didn't touch on Just Cause 4 in the Xbox one, because there's not really a lot to say about that one. It just kind of looks like Just Cause 3 with weather, you know?
Yeah, the tornado was definitely the star of that show. It was, I say, it. After Just Cause 2, I was content with Just Cause 2. It did.
I came so close to buying Just Cause 2 numerous times and never pulled the trigger.
It did what Just Cause 1, first Just Cause couldn't do. And I mean, playing the first Just Cause, seeing the first Cause, it does it does bring.
Wow, we have said Just Cause a lot.
Yeah, just seeing the first game.
Yeah.
You do bring back the term potato graphic. It really was a potato. For its time, I think it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. It was adequate.
Oh, no, absolutely.
But now you look at it and you think, like, the sea didn't even render properly. I mean, come on. You were standing on the shore and then you wouldn't see any water. You would just see white stuff. It was like little white clouds fluffing past your feet. And that meant you was like on the edge of the shore. I mean, come on.
Wow.
That is,
So it's not aging particularly well, then.
it did not age well at all. But Just Cause 2, yes, Just Cause 2 did what Just Cause couldn't do.
Did a lot better.
Yeah, and
So
had the graphical power to keep up with the time. Luckily.
So if we were to steer away from Just Cause, obviously Just Cause was meant to be discussed at Xbox, but I forgot because, to be honest, it looked pretty forgettable. But that could be completely misconstrued by me. It could end up being absolutely fabulous. I'll hold my hands up high if that actually happens. But I know you've been dying to tell everybody about Fallout 76 properly.
Yes. So if I haven't said his name enough, Todd Howard appears on stage and he goes, "Okay, know why you're all here." And this voice at the back of the crowd goes, "Todd Howard." It's like, and he goes, "Thank you." He literally, he is the star of Bethesda. I think he is literally their spokesperson. He is the saving grace of everything at the moment to me. Because he did deliver us Fallout 76. It had been hinted, it had been dropped, and
you're very excited for it.
Yeah, I am. I am now, because it was everything that not Skyrim, but it was everything everyone was asking for. So with Skyrim, with Fallout, they were like, "I want to play with friends." Skyrim and Elder Scrolls.
Multiplayer Fallout, really good co-op experience, shared open worlds, dedicated servers, camps, buildings, everything that made Fallout 4 such a hit, taken into an online shared experience where you can either kill your neighbors or befriend your neighbors and work together, grow crops together. It's just too good to be true, surely.
Well, this is the thing. This is where I grew a bit skeptical of the whole multiplayer. The second people started rumoring that multiplayer was coming to Fallout, I was like, "Oh, please no, please no," because Elder Scrolls turned to ZeniMax, and ZeniMax made an MMO. Now we all know that as Elder Scrolls Online, and to me that didn't land. I mean, it has a following.
You played enough of it.
I did play enough of it. I played it to the end of its story, and
several times.
No, just the first time, I believe. I'm sure it was
a couple characters.
Oh yeah, I had a couple of characters. I literally only completed one storyline and then found out that the storyline gets repeated but continued in a different faction.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I played it through once. I had a couple of characters. I started on the next faction and then I went, "You know what? No, I don't want to do this anymore." But the thing that didn't land with me was the whole co-op. Now, this was the big thing for everyone. They were saying they wanted a co-op game for Skyrim, Fallout. And ZeniMax went, "Okay, we'll make you an MMO. People can play friends and stuff." They started off... They had a good idea. But
well, it's getting progressively more. I mean, we've had the Tamriel Unlimited edition of the game released on consoles, and then there was, of course, the Morrowind and Somerset DLCs.
And now there is... Oh, Jesus, what's the name of it?
Somerset, I think.
Oh, no, yeah, you did say Somerset. My apologies.
No, it's all good.
So, yeah, it wasn't the DLCs that killed it for me. It was the vanilla game. So they said
I was very bored playing the vanilla game with you guys. I was very bored.
They ruined it in a sense at the start of it, and they wanted to fix it, and they said they were going to fix it, but it was the last thing they did, and that's what killed it for me. As I say, literally,
it took too long.
You started off with your friends. Unless you played the same missions at the same level at the same time, you got split up. So like with No Man's Sky, at the moment you now have the little orb, which was your partner in crime, shall we say? And it was exactly the same thing for Elder Scrolls Online. Unless you was playing the same mission, same blah 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 blah, you got separated, and all you could see was name, and you could follow them about, but there would be no interaction. There was no kind of working together to thing. And then when they said they were going to address it with the whole one Tamriel, they announced that right at the very end of all the other things that they were doing first. And it was like, why did you not lead with that? Lead with that. So no matter what level you are, what kind of race you're playing, you can play with your friends as it was intended. But then, okay, going back to E3, 2018, Bethesda, 76 is, as I say, I was skeptical because I did not want them to do an MMO. And now that they've said, you know what, look, we've got you a Fallout game. It is single player. It can be single player. You can play it how it was intended to be played. But you can now share with friends and, public. It is not just the Larry Loner running around the wasteland. You now have people to play with, and it's up to you how you play.
Potentially shoot them.
Yeah. It's entirely up to you. And don't get me wrong, I get the feeling that there's going to be a lot of shootings just to find the launch codes. Oh my god!
Yes, of course, firing nukes at each other. What a strange addition to the game. Brilliant.
Just some of the faces that were being pulled. I mean, you're going to have to go through and find them all because it was hilarious to watch. And this is why I was saying it was such a great one. They knew what they were doing, and they knew why they were doing it. And you can see it in their faces. Yep, we're giving you this area, and it's the real sites of where where nukes were tested and stuff like this. So you know what? We're going to give you the ability to fire nukes, and as he's saying it, you can see the thing in his face is like, oh my god, I know there's going to be people who love this, there's going to be people who hate it, and I know it's just going to be a complete fest, to say the least. And that's what made it so great. But what they didn't quite touch on was how it was going to work. And just to clarify for people, you are not just going to be able to walk up to this thing and go button push, boom. It is literally, there is going to be multiple codes, and actually they did touch it. They did touch it. They touched on the subject in the video, didn't they? The little short clip from Vault-Tec, which I hear you loved.
I did. I thought they were fantastic little videos, infomercials.
The infomercials from Fallout 3 and 4. I think more so Fallout 4, they mainly did them. They were great, telling you how you're special and stuff like this. All the abilities that you can have. Like you're spending your time in the wasteland and you become hardened to it. And just the little animations that went with it were amazing. And yes, they've done it again in Fallout 4. Fallout 76. I'm losing my Fallouts.
No, it's okay. I'm very excited for the game. I definitely think it'll be a purchase for me, and I say that with stunned vigor about my own opinion of the game, because I did not like Fallout 4. It didn't get along with me. And yet, here's a game that fundamentally is going to behave the same way, but the addition of my friends is going to change everything. It
will. It definitely will. And it's the case of sharing that experience is the main selling point. Think nowadays it is the main selling point for the a lot of franchises is being able to play with people. I've said to quite a lot of people now, I have become a social gamer. If I'm online, I'm on there to play with people. I can play.
Yeah.
As I say, God of War was the first single player game in a while that's brought me back to playing a story on my own, but it's kind of a pick up, put down kind of thing. I can
otherwise we'll be on Fortnite, Rocket League, H1Z1.
Yeah. It'll never quite be H1Z1.
Well, that is awesome. Obviously, we've got a lot that we've talked about here. We've been going for well over an hour. There's lots of games, lots of day one buys, lots of wait and sees. But before we close out this final portion of the Bethesda conference and overall the whole Shocking Developments episode as a whole, there was one more tiny thing that happened in the Bethesda conference. What was that?
That was I'm wondering what you're talking about, because they did the Elder Scrolls Blades.
Well, no, obviously the mobile game they say mobile game, but they've said they were also going to release it to PS4 and Xbox One and PC, so what constitutes it as a mobile game is beyond me. But I was thinking bigger, grander.
See, now, this is the thing. At the very end of Bethesda, their conference, they decide to show a little clip. Just a little smidgen of a clip. So
a little clip of what, sir?
Landscape. You know, I've always wanted to see Scotland. But no.
And what was this landscape pertaining to?
It was pertaining to another Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls 6, finally. How long has it been? 2011 was Skyrim?
Yes, actually, and you know, four different styles of Fallout.
How many more times are they going to release Skyrim? Yeah. Skyrim. They made a great joke about that too. Skyrim on Alexa.
Oh yeah, the very special edition. I completely about.
Yeah, that was great.
There's a big mountain in front of you.
Eat all the cheese.
Eat all the cheese.
Eat all the cheese. Remember, you're lactose intolerant. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Eat all the cheese. Yeah, no, I'm of the opinion, I think we're slowly starting to lose each other connection-wise, so we'll have to wrap it up. But I'm of the opinion that Elder Scrolls 6 would probably end up being the most anticipated game of all time.
So we'll have to do that bit again.
Okay, yeah. So I'm of the opinion that oh, hang on, I've just gone red. Why have I gone red? There we go, I'm blue again. I'm of the opinion that Elder Scrolls 6, well, it has potential to be the most anticipated game of all time.
Yes, it does, and I'm going to shock myself. Just seeing the teaser of the landscape and, you know, Elder Scrolls 6 coming up, I've kind of suppressed it. I have really suppressed it now, because I want to look forward to it. I love my Skyrim, and I even loved Oblivion. I played that one, and the Shivering Isles was probably one of my favorite DLCs for Oblivion. I was kind of glad that they revisited, in a sense, in Skyrim, but it wasn't enough for me. I would have liked to have gone back there completely. It was a great DLC, but yeah, I know if I start getting worked up about it now, I'm still looking at least 2 to 3 years before it comes out.
Oh, at least. But this is something to excite you even more that's just occurred to me. Skyrim was an Xbox 360 game.
It was?
It was ported to the 8th gen, but it was never actually built in the 8th gen. So you're getting a generational skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about that.
That is...
Next time you see Elder Scrolls, it'll be on a new console generation, built from the ground up, probably in a new engine, probably taking advantage of Ryzen. Is it Ryzen? Resin? The new processors.
Yes, yeah.
That is quite exciting. What could be possible with all that future tech? Just imagine it.
Well, we're touching on the latest, PC generation. Their game.
Well, think about this. Like, what kind of Elder Scrolls game could we have had in the 8th generation? We'll never know.
No, we won't. No, we will not.
It's pretty exciting to think about. I'm willing to be hyped for it, but as you say, we got a long ways to wait. I reckon we'll see it in at least another 3 E3s before we actually get to play it.
I say, yeah. You're pushing me to it now. Really pushing me to it. As I say, I'm repressing it. I'm definitely repressing it.
You're containing your excitement.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
I think that's how I'm gonna treat Cyberpunk. I'm still beyond hyped for it, but I want to see it playing before I really commit to my excitement. Well, I guess that'll wrap up the Bethesda conference. So again, you know how it works. A shark card.
Well, I mean, do you go beyond legendary? This is my thing.
Oh, are you thinking Ascended?
It's close. It is very close. It is one of my favorite ones. I think if I'm gonna do it, I'm going to do it based on the entire conference and the whole
presentation.
It was just such a it was a show. It was what I like to see from a development company, just any kind of company who is showing me something.
It's something that you want to buy.
Yeah, but they also throw in they throw in their personality. Now, when you get Xbox and PlayStation, they're just selling you. They are literally just selling you. But when you get a developer come in, like I'll even say it, Ubisoft even throw themselves into their presentation, but nowhere near as much as Bethesda did. Bethesda is just a down to earth, personal opinion yet again. It's
all good. It's all good. Give me a shark card.
It's Ascended for me.
Ascended shark card for Bethesda. Well done, Bethesda. I agree in that I think it's really, really powerful the way they presented themselves. I'm not the biggest fan of Fallout, but I'm really excited for the game. And on that basis, on the basis of the games themselves, not necessarily being my absolute favorite in the world, I'm very excited for Rage 2, very excited for Doom Eternal, very excited for Fallout 76. I guess I could give it Ascended, but I just couldn't pick between the Xbox conference and the Bethesda conference, so I'm gonna double up on the Legendary.
That seems very fair. I say if you're conflicted between two, then
oh, we lost you a little bit there.
No, I think that was me. But yeah,
I think the thing's trying to tell us to wrap it up.
Yeah, if you're that conflicted about two press conferences, then yes, they are that close that you should, you've got to give them the same rating if that's how conflicted you are.
I think that's very mature aspect of you. So there we go. Two knockout the park conferences. First from Microsoft, then from Bethesda. That's a really solid day of presentations, is what it was. I say day for us in the UK. It was more like night, but and early morning.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, we'll also be coming back to talk about Ubisoft and Sony.
Yeah, those will be a little bit less. Maybe a few more puns.
Well,
I'm gonna have to.
Don't worry about the puns. It's all about the opinion, and I've loved having you on here, dude. Obviously, my spiritual brother. Thank you so much. This has been a thrill.
I've been very grateful to be here.
It's fantastic. As you know from my page, guys, I've got him listed as a featured channel. It's G Freak HATHEM. Go watch his stuff. He's an awesome YouTuber, and right now, if you want to see how to win on H1Z1, he's got you hooked up. He just can't stop.
Yeah, notice I only show the win. Show any of the losses.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To have the footage is still the footage. No one wants to see countless videos of you losing. They want to see people winning. That's why Ninja's such a popular Twitch streamer.
I don't know. Compilations are pretty high right now.
Well, if you can get the comedic factor involved. But yeah, it's been awesome to have you. I can't wait to have you back tomorrow to talk about Ubisoft and Sony, and then possibly even EA and Square Enix, two conferences that might not be quite so positive.
I'm gonna put a little teaser out there now. My view changed slightly, but
Really?
Yeah.
You've changed perspective a little bit.
I can see where they're going, and I've slept on it. But as I say, that's all the teaser I'm going to give.
Well, I'm of the opinion we haven't had a terrible conference, just very mediocre ones.
I can get behind that. I can definitely get behind
Yeah, I don't think anybody has presented a terrible conference, although I think EA at times came pretty close, like the 15 minutes devoted to the Command and Conquer game. Well, we'll discuss that when we get to it. But yes, thank you guys for joining me. Be sure to check out G Freak HATHEM, my buddy Andy here. Again, thank you so much for being here. Please, guys, check out his channel, support him, and encourage him to make more videos. It's really difficult to get those videos out. He's a new father, but he still wants to do it, and I know that if you encourage him to do it by showing him love and support, he'll be right there. He'll be getting right behind it. Definitely looking forward to doing more of these videos. If you want to contact me about being in a Shocking Developments video yourself, just let me know in the comments below or send me a message. I'll be happy to discuss games with you. Just happy to play games with you guys. Just let me know what's going to tickle your fancy in that regard. And the question of the day, inspired earlier, should there be an ultra rare shark card? Answers below. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'll just close out there by saying one final time, thanks so much, G Freak HATHEM, and I'm so grateful for you guys sitting through this video. As you can see down below in the description, there is a table of contents, so you can skip to the games that you wanted to hear us talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, tear that like button limb from limb, and if you're still a hungry shark, take a big delicious bite out of the subscribe button, see what else is on the menu. Have a great E3, you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you like this one, please click here to see more like it.